So, this is my review of TNA Genesis 2025. This is my first TNA review, and the show overall was an average show for me. Like it was TNA. Like the one problem that I have with TNA is that they have a certain style of wrestling, kind of like WWE does, AEW does, every promotion does. But it's just that if I saw the same matchup in some other company, maybe the match will be much more exciting than it would be in TNA. Second is their rings are much more bouncier, or at least the sounds of the bounce comes more when it's inside a TNA ring also. And the vibe also, it's always like a vibe of a small show. It never feels big. Like I have seen AEW shows in like Hammerstein Ballroom or NXT shows in like theaters which have a much big show feel than TNA shows generally do. And this is probably like their largest crowd in like years or something. But it still felt like that. One thing that I would say that no match was bad on the show. Like the matches that I saw was bad, but no no match was like incredible. Like except like I think the Masha versus Rosemary match, no match was incredible. And even then you could say maybe because it was a Clockwork Orange match, this is why it was a very you know uh, an awesome type of match. Of course it's not like any matches were bad, they were just TNA matches. So thing is I watched this show because they are collaborating with NXT. They had like an NXT logo below the TNA Genesis logo also, and in the pre-show like Ashante the Adonis from NXT came, and he issued an open challenge with Jake something one. Then when the show started, it was Frankie versus Leon Slater 2 where Frankie won. Like I don't really know much of the storylines. He won like a gauntlet match or something, call your shot something. So he had just a match. Then we had the first match, which was Moose versus Ace Austin, and I think these are the type of opponents that you put up against Moose. Moose is not like, it may look like sometimes he's very fast, but then he has that kind of Braun Strowman type genetics where it feels like he's running, but he's really running in slow motion. Or Ace Austin really, I think, complemented Moose's style, and this match was much more fast paced than a regular Moose match. Like I have watched Moose matches before also, they have been pretty slow and like pretty methodical. I think this was good. There were some kickouts that actually got me, like the spear that Moose did to Ace Austin, and that kickout first that got me. In the end, Moose won. I don't really know what's the story. Like he's trying to prove that he's the best X Division champion. I hope that they give the title to someone else, because I think in the future we may see like the X Division championship or some TNA championship may be defended on like an NXT TV episode, or maybe defended on an NXT pay-per-view, and I don't think that NXT would want Moose to come there, someone like a Moose or someone like a Tessa Blanchard to come there. So I think it will be better if they give. And from what I have seen, it's been like what 73 days that he's been champion. But then Eric Young and I don't know who is tag partner, they came out because you know mm, Moose and his stable, the system, started attacking Ace Austin. One thing that I have noticed is first that TNA has very like it has its TNA coded generic theme songs which everyone has, and it has stables which are very generic also. The system. There's a stable called the system. Then Eric Young has his own group called something. I think it whether it is this current stable or whether it was earlier, it was called some OV something. Then they came out. The brawl was kinda good. Was good, straight away going into the second match. The match was fine. Like this match was nothing special. It was kind of like a TV tag match. In the end, Eric Young won. Like Eric Young and his team won. Then I think I'll probably Jordan Grace versus Tessa Blanchard. From what I saw, was like fine. Like Tessa Blanchard is a very weird looking person to me. at one angle she looks kind of hot, like the first the look that she does from her entrance with the face to the back and everything. But then from the other angle she has that kind of that Looney Tunes that the chin that she has got a nibba chin, that you say she has that nibba chin. So it's very weird. Like, one thing is that the way that she flows in the ring, the way that she jumps, like, it's so seamless. Like, she probably would have been a WWE champion if she would have just apologized for her racist actions, but she didn't, and she's a racist chance in Texas. Not saying that Texas is like a racist town or something, but you're getting the whole arena to chant that. That means people are not over it. She got a new theme song also, which kinda slaps, kinda. And Jordan Grace, they had, from what I could see, that was a good match because I was in and out of sleep also a little bit. That kind of affected my watching too. And Tessa won. From what I heard on Twitter, they like botched the final spot, but Tessa won regardless. And this was Jordan Grace's last match because she also posted a video where she like just you know turned away from Tessa and from in the backstage and hugged everyone. So she's probably WWE bound now. That's what I think will happen. Probably Royal Rumble. From what I see is I see her probably eliminating someone like a Chelsea Green from the Rumble, and I see a Jordan Grace and a Jordan Grace and a Chelsea match at WrestleMania, where they can have like a squash match where Jordan defeats Chelsea Green and becomes the women's US champion, and it can be like a creative squash because it's Chelsea, it's Jordan. They can come up with a creative squash match, and I think that's the direction that you go with Jordan Grace. Like, Tessa is like such a like a perfect WWE type of wrestler. Like, she can go to CMLL, she can wrestle that style also. The way she does a promo, it's like a WWE style. The way she can wrestle, she can combine the WWE style with a little bit of like lucha flips and all. Like, she ruined her own career. Like, she has to repent. Otherwise, the thing is, WWE would have wanted her, but she's just bad news unless she repents. Like, even if she like gives a fake apology, maybe WWE will then go after her because they employ Hulk Hogan. Like, that man is not apologetic at all, but he gave a fake apology, so they employed him again. So if Tessa does that, maybe they'll employ her too, but I hope so. What, be it an apology, be it something that she does, charity or something, she does it out of the heart and she truly changes as a person and not bully people also backstage. Then it was the Hardys versus the Rascals. I think the Rascals really like hid the Hardys' weaknesses. This match is also not anything special, but it was fine. Like, it was fine. It was perfectly serviceable rather than the ladder match that I saw last time. I saw a TNA show which was Bound for Glory, where the Hardys didn't put up a good performance. Fraxium were out there, the NXT Tag Team Champions, and I got very hyped when I saw them. And also, the thing with them is, and it has been announced that this Thursday, meaning in India it's Friday, is going to be Fraxium versus Rascals for the NXT Tag Team Championship, because if you remember, the Rascals actually had a shot at the NXT Tag Team titles before they got fired from WWE, and I think Zachary Wentz kind of mentioned into Twitter, and I think they have got it into like a story now. So it will probably, like, this Thursday I'll have to watch the show. I think it's going to be awesome. Like, Fraxium cannot have a bad match. Like, they got the best out of OTM on NXT. OTM has not had even one good match, and they looked like beasts out there. Like, literal, like they looked like powerhouses against Fraxium. There was, you know, there was some kind of mishap between the Rascals and Fraxium. Fraxium were then sent to the back. Then, you know, the Hardys won, which was a pretty fine match. And we also had, uh, what am I missing? they had the Mike Santana versus uh, what was his name? Josh Alexander. Why was I forgetting his name? I miss most of this match. From what I saw, the end was like a pretty weird end, I will say. Like this is the kind of thing that I quit matches kind of suffer from. Like when you want to protect the guy in the finish, the person losing, it generally results in a weird ending, kind of like what happened against AJ Styles. Like it was a weird ending to a pretty good match that AJ and Cody had at Clash at the Castle. Kinda what happened here also. So Josh Alexander quit, and then Josh Alexander had a pretty weird exit too. Like he said, I don't only quit in this match, I quit TNA also. But I think it is in storyline, because Impact posted a video on Twitter which had Santino saying that you're still under TNA contract, so you have to appear on Thursday. And then they had from then they also had Ash and Heather. What was her name? Heathen. I don't remember her name. By Elegance against Spitfire. This was probably, I'll say, the weakest match on the show, but it was pretty fine. Like Dana Brooke, who is Ash by Elegance, like she didn't look bad out there. She looked normal, which was fine. Like they had a match and Spitfire won. That was that. And then you had the match of the night, which was Masha Slamovich versus Rosemary, and they just went out there like doing the staple spots, uh, like putting Rosemary through a table, then Rosemary putting Masha from top of the ladder through a table, breaking Janice, then pile driving Rosemary through a bunch of chairs also. And then the ending was kind of unexpected. Like you probably would have thought they would have extended the match 5 more minutes, and I think it would have been from a good match, a very good match, to a great match if they had extended it to 5 minutes. Like the end was pretty unexpected, but Masha won, rightfully so. And then Cora Jade came out, which was kind of indicated on last week's NXT when Masha was watching the match between Cora Jade and what was her name? Kiana. What was her name? I forgot. How did I forget her name? I just remembered what was her name. Kiana James? No, Kiana James is some other. Our former North American Women's Champion. So, Cora Jade won that match, and she kind of stared Masha, and then right now, Cora Jade came out to a pretty good pop. She came out to a pretty good pop, and I think this is kind of like the talent. This is how I'll see the TNA partnership, TNA and NXT partnership, because first of all, having the NXT tag titles being defended on an episode of TNA Impact is kind of crazy. And the thing is, having the Rascals lose will not like impact TNA that much that it kind of like buries or like puts the talent into a very bad position, because the Rascals just lost their tag match against Hardys also, so it doesn't really impact them that much. I think it will probably put them in a very good position if they get like a very great match. Fraxium and Rascals have a pretty great match. And the thing with Cora Jade is like she is regularly featured on NXT TV. Of course, she loses a lot, but she has gotten you know quite a few wins also. Right now, like she got a win against the former North American Women's Champion. She got a win like 2-3 weeks back. Also, she's involved with Roxanne. She's in that upper mid card scene. So I think what we have to see is that the talent exchange between NXT and TNA must not be that lopsided. Of course, WWE will have the advantage, and rightfully so. They should have. They are the bigger company. But I hope at least there are upper mid card talent that can go to TNA and lose to their champion. Like that is something that I expect that should happen in this partnership, which didn't happen with the AEW TNA partnership. Like Kenny lost his AEW championship, like lost his TNA championship to Christian Cage, who was an AEW talent already. So, and also that you need to have Uh, like when there are going to be times when either people who are in NXT but they don't have something, they may go to TNA, vice versa from TNA to NXT. Hope that they are treated well in those settings as well. I think expecting that TNA guys to hold NXT titles is I think too far ahead. But maybe we see someone like an AJ Styles like have one match, like maybe at a Slammiversary, because they're running like two arena shows this year, which is pretty weird to me. Like UBS arena and another arena that they're running for Slammiversary, which I'm like, you're not even going to fill like half of it. Like maybe getting AJ Styles will move a lot of tickets because you can say anything about AJ Styles, but if that big of a name, AJ Styles, is announced for TNA, like they're going to move like at least 2,000, 3,000 tickets, and that's a lot of tickets. But maybe they get like one or two like mid-tier talent. Maybe they can get them from the main roster. But I think main roster is far because like WWE mentioned like it's NXT and TNA. So I think getting someone like an AJ or other talent is not going to happen. You can get like an Oba Femi to work an NXT man, maybe a Trick Williams. Like Trick Williams has nothing going right now, and I don't think there are there is time before he's called up to the main roster. So you know get him into TNA. Like get a Oba versus, maybe say that you know my loss against Oba and Eddie Thorpe has reminded me that I need to get more reps in, that I need to rebuild myself. So he goes to TNA, he goes on like a mini run, you can say. He gets his reps in because he needs to like wrestle people who can help him improve in the ring. And then he can finally come back. That way, maybe he can lose the last match also, but it can be that I may have lost my last match to like this TNA star, but I'm ready now. So he goes back to NXT, like maybe wins like one number one contenders. You do an Oba Femi versus a Trick Williams at Stand and Deliver, and Trick William loses. Then he goes to the main roster and joins Carmelo Hayes. That's how we do it. And then you have the main event, which is Nick Nemeth, the TNA World Champion, versus Joe Hendry. One thing that TNA has messed up is Joe Hendry is still over, but he's not getting those reactions that he got like in October last year. Like the reaction that he got at Bound for Glory. Like he should have been champion when he was on NXT television for like a month or something regularly. I mean, they made Zachary Wentz the X Division champion, like taking the title of Speedball Mike Bailey just so that they can get the X Division title on NXT No Mercy. But they couldn't do it with Joe. What? Because of Nick Nemeth? Like Nick Nemeth, I have not watched TNA, but I have not heard, be it in the Wrestling Observer, or be it by any wrestling journalist or by any IWC fan, like this Nick Nemeth match was a 5-star match. So for that Nick Nemeth, because he was an ex WWE guy, and you're like, oh, he will put us on the map again. You didn't give Joe Hendry the title when the iron was hot. But okay, better late than never. Like this match, I think one spot got me, which was the zigzag that Nick Nemeth hit and Joe Hendry kicked out. I still don't understand Bradshaw. Like Bradshaw attacked Joe Hendry last time, but this time he attacked Ryan Nemeth, Nick Nemeth's brother. My brother will beat Joe Hendry, and he attacked Nick Nemeth as. I think he only attacked Ryan Nemeth, and then he went off. And he attacked Ryan Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian. Frankie was going to like cash in his like gauntlet something trophy. He caught him, and then Henry finally won. Like, and first of all, Henry needs to like sing his official theme song. Like he has to make like a full-fledged 4 or 5 minute video because that theme song is 2 minutes, and that song was like restarting again and again. Restarted once because he went into the crowd to celebrate also, and it was a little bit weird. But the right result finally happened. Joe Henry is your TNA World Champion. Better late than never, maybe. But the thing is, if you go by the reports, he has like a year left on his deal. So, like a year, or now, if it's January, it's probably like a little bit less than a year. And that is the problem with TNA. Like, they make people world champions either like they never strike when the iron is hot, or they do when it's kind of like too late. And I don't think Joe Henry is going to stick with TNA after his contract ends. Like, clearly he sees that WWE has interest in him, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have put him in the, like, he was the first TNA contracted wrestler to main event a WWE PLE. It is an NXT PLE, but it's a WWE PLE. He main evented that. So they are probably interested in him. Of course, he'll make sure that he stays over so that whenever the contract ends, he's still lucrative. He's still like he has enough to give to WWE so that they sign him. But I don't think he's going to be there after this contract ends. Maybe he can be compelled to stay because TNA and NXT are in partnership, but right now he's probably going into the Rumble. Like, I think we'll probably see like multiple champions of TNA enter the Royal Rumble. First is like Joe Henry will enter. I think he'll probably get a spot where he'll probably eliminate someone like a Miz or someone, and then he gets eliminated by maybe a Braun Breaker or someone like that, or maybe I don't know who else. Maybe a Drew McIntyre eliminates him or something. Like, he will eliminate at least one. My prediction is Joe Henry will eliminate at least one person from the Royal Rumble. Then maybe you see Masha in the Royal Rumble. Jordan Grace will be there. Like, give your prediction in the comment section. Who else? Which TNA star do you see apart from like Henry be in the Rumble, be it men's Rumble or women's Rumble? So that was the show. It was a fine show, but yeah, Thursday I'll watch TNA. Maybe if the match is really good, I'll review that too. This was my first TNA review, so please give valuable feedback in the comment section also. So this was the video. If you like this type of content, please like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, share it with those who do. My social media links are in the description also. Go follow me on that. My UPI link, shareboy@okicici, is also in the description. So please donate any amount that you can so that I can work towards making YouTube a permanent career option. So that was that for me today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.